Alright guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit different than anything that I've done before. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this type of video and would like me to make more. So as most of you know, Eric and I got into our first antique booth last November. So we have had our booth since last November. And you guys see that I do videos of just kind of like booth updates and that kind of thing. But I kind of wanted to start doing booth sales each month so you can get an idea of what is selling in our booth. Now, obviously, you know, what sells here where I live doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be popular elsewhere or that type of thing. But I like to think that, I mean, I don't consider myself young by any means, but I like to think I'm still trying to stay on top of, you know, trends and what is popular at the moment. You know, a lot of people coming through antique stores and antique malls nowadays, like there's a lot of younger people that come through there and they're looking for those things that are, you know, popular at the time. Like uranium glass is really hot right now amongst the younger crowd. So things like that, I like to try and stay on top of those types of trends. But as far as our antique booth goes, we are loving it so much. It's going really well. I have absolutely nothing bad to say whatsoever. I love the mall that we're in. I love the owners. I love the people that work there. Like, it is just such an amazing place. I like to shop there as well. So this here is going to be our sales for April. So this was last month's sales. I'm apologizing ahead of time because I pulled most of these pictures off of like screenshots or some pictures that I had on my phone and they got enlarged and they're just not the best quality. I'm going to try and take better, clearer pictures of everything I'm putting in, so when I do these videos I have a better and clearer picture of the items to show you when they sell. So the prices that I will tell you are going to be what is on the tag, what I tagged it at. That does not include our 10% off sales or sales tax or anything like that. It's just the price I put on the tag. Now, Eric and I, we do offer in our booth a 10% off everything all the time. So I do think that is an incentive for buyers. I think it really helps. Everyone wants to get a good deal on something, you know what I'm saying? And one thing too that Eric and I wanted to make sure we never did having a booth was, you know, sometimes you go into a booth and something is marked firm, so you can get a % off of, you know, everything except what's priced firm. And a lot of the times, like, a lot of the stuff is priced firm. And we wanted to have it so, like, we never price anything at firm. So never any kind of things that, you know, you can't get a 10% off discount for our stuff. So, enough jibber jabber. I think I went through everything I kind of wanted to just talk about before I started this video. Future videos, I'll probably just get straight into the sales. So since this being my first, I wanted to just do a little bit of talking. So April sales, no particular order. First thing that I have was this set of 3 Rubbermaid canisters. I priced these at $25 and they sold fairly quickly. Next item was a tin recipe box. I sold at a ticketed price of $12. This was a Studio Pottery potpourri jar that sold for $24. I sold a Primitives by Kathy lamb figure for $19. Next was a Rubens ceramic planter. It was of a girl playing a piano. Sold for $19. I sold 3 glass swans at a price of $6 a piece. Next was a Fenton hand-painted blue bowl that sold for $42. 2 Fenton milk glass fairy lamps at $32 a piece. I also sold a Peru paperweight. This was made out of like a marble. That sold for $9. I sold a 4-piece Mary Mushroom canister set. This was in absolutely beautiful condition. That canister set sold for $175, and it was like pretty much right after I put it in the booth. It did not last long at all. Also sold a Susan Thompson Studio Pottery mug for $19. This next one was just weird. You guys know I like picking up weird stuff. I found this at a thrift store for $1. It was a banana duck that sold for $9, and it sold fairly quickly. I was surprised by that. Next was a Westmoreland milk glass vase that sold for $29. We also sold a 21-inch Fenton Amberina vase for $130. An Ellie Smith Flame swung vase for $240. An Ellie Smith Amberina vase for $175. A Fenton milk glass vase for $65. A Fenton custard vase for $34. There were 2 different Amberina Fenton vases. They each sold for $29 a piece. A Fenton Cameo bowl that sold for $32. A Fenton Cameo swung vase that sold for $49. A butterfly teapot terrarium. It was a glass teapot that had a little butterfly terrarium in that sold for $15. That actually came from an auction and someone was about to throw it away, so we saved it. Next was a pineapple ashtray that sold for $17. The whole shelf that I had going on there, I was trying to do a little bit of like an MCM type of theme. So I like to do themed shelves when I can. Next was a Viking Green Fairy Diamond Point Fairy Lamp that sold for $65. Sold a Seth Thomas clock for $95. A Milk Glass Hobnail Fairy Lamp for $26. A set of jadeite colored grapes. Those sold for $29. We sold a gravel art. This one was of flowers, I believe. That sold for $29. A cat planter that sold for $13. A yellow St. Clair glass bird that sold for $15. A Viking bird that sold for $20. His tail was broken, but it was filed down really nicely, so it still displayed great. Next was a piggy bank that sold for $8. A Betty Crocker cookbook that sold for $9. A Hull vase. I didn't write down what this sold for, so I'm gonna pop it up on the screen here. I forgot to write down what it sold for. And then I have 2 things that I couldn't find pictures of on my phone. One was a set of little bone china Siamese cats that sold for $10, and a set of 2 brass swans that sold for $12. So those are all of April's booth sales. As you guys can see, we do sell a lot of glass. Eric and I have a really nice case that we fill with all sorts of nice glass. It's one of those things where, like, you know, I want people to come into our booth and just recognize it and want to come back, like kind of being known for something, like, well, this booth always has nice glass, or, you know, that kind of thing. Or just this booth always has something interesting to look at. And we also try not to overcrowd the booth so much. Like, we try not to overcrowd the shelves or things like that when we can help it. It just helps because I know me personally, and I've said this before as a shopper, sometimes like I get very overwhelmed when I'm in an antique store and you know, I'm in someone's booth and there's just like so much to look at. It's a little overwhelming and it's hard to like focus, or at least for me, to focus and concentrate on what I'm looking at. So to go into a booth, I like when like I can just visually see kind of like everything, and then you know you can more or less like imagine an item specifically, you know, set somewhere in your house. It just makes it easier visually, like in your mind, to picture that kind of thing when there's just not like chaos happening all around you. At least me, for me, that's my brain, because my brain's just all the time. But so that's pretty much everything, like I said, for the April booth sales. I will obviously try to do these every month. Obviously they're gonna be, you know, the month after, because I won't have all of my info until then. So, you know, we'll do May's probably, you know, in June. But I did want to just keep, you know, doing these types of videos. So hopefully it's something that interests you. You know, whether or not you have a booth yourself or not, or if you do have a booth, maybe like get an idea of what is selling or for how much maybe to price something at. I would say for the most part, our prices are slightly below like an eBay price. So slightly below, plus you don't have to pay shipping and that kind of thing. We do like to keep, you know, our prices when possible on the lower side of things, just so everyone has a chance to, you know, be able to afford the items, whether it's a collector or a reseller, because there are also resellers coming through, you know, the antique malls and stuff like that, looking for stuff to resell. So you want to be able to price your things to the point where like a collector can afford it, or even a reseller could potentially buy it and still have room to make some profit on the item. So that's just how we like to do things. I think it's working great for us. I think April sales were really good. We're currently in May, and as far as May sales go, it's hard to say. We don't sell stuff every single day or anything like that, but when we do, and especially if it's something like on the higher side, really helps out. So, but yeah, like I said, I think everything is going great. Like I said, we've been doing this since November. This is our first ever antique booth. We had no prior experience with ever having an antique booth. Obviously I have prior experience reselling online on other platforms, mainly eBay, but I think we're doing great for not having any prior antique booth experience. And like I said, I think it helps to just try and stay on top of trends and things of that nature. But that is pretty much everything for this video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you want to see more of these videos, hit that thumbs up button or let me know down in the comments. So I will see you guys next time.